I work on various related issues having to do with our individual obligations of justice, in particular in non-ideal conditions, in unjust conditions. So examples of issues that I've written about include our obligations to redirect a portion of our income to people who are victims of injustice, obligations to take considerations of justice into account when we're making decisions like what career we're going to go into or how we're going to operate our businesses, things like this. One sort of key theme of my research is that our obligations, in particular in non-ideal conditions, are quite a bit more extensive than most people tend to think. So I think, for example, that we can be obligated to take considerations of justice into account when we're deciding, for example, what career we're going to pursue, so that it's not necessarily morally permissible to choose whatever career would most benefit you, or the one that's your most preferred of the available options. Unjust conditions in particular can make it the case that if one is overall a beneficiary of injustice, that they can have obligations to make choices that are not, for example, legally required within the system, but that would better advance the aims of justice if they were to choose one way rather than another. And this applies, I think, across a broad range of domains. So, for example, how we spend our money, again, what careers we pursue, how we operate our businesses, and other areas as well. The applications, in most cases, are a little bit indirect, right? So what I suggest is that people in their private lives, in their roles within companies and elsewhere, are obligated to take considerations of justice into account in deciding what they're going to do with their resources, with the business that they're running, if they have sort of multiple options in terms of what kinds of practices to adopt or what areas to sort of enter into or things like this. But my research is abstract enough that there are no kind of direct takeaways. So I don't say things like, actual person X is obligated to do this particular thing, right? I sort of try to argue that certain kinds of considerations are relevant and have to be taken into account by people who are making decisions that many people think are not the kinds of things that individuals are obligated to consider when making decisions like what career to pursue or something along these lines. One thing that I've been thinking about is the conditions in which private group actions within the economic sphere that are aimed at promoting justice are permissible or impermissible. So consumer boycotts is sort of one example of this. So if we think that we can pursue some important justice-related aim through organizing some kind of collective boycott effort, what conditions do we have to meet in order for that sort of effort to be permissible in a, say, liberal democratic society? I'm also working on several papers about issues related to climate change. So one issue that I've been thinking about is whether historical emissions make a difference with regard to what we're obligated to do now, who's obligated to do what to, for example, mitigate the negative effects of climate change in the future. And I'm also hoping to think more about the obligations of businesses to contribute to the effort to mitigate climate change.